You know, when you mention Hugo Bruce and the job that he's done, we often have so many people that we want to put ahead of others merely because we like them. And we put aside the results and how everything is done. We do it locally. You look at Kaizer Chiefs. The best performing league coach for Kaizer Chiefs of recent history just so happens to be Ernst Middendorp. Before that, it was Stuart Baxter. Two people that, because we don't necessarily like the way that they played, we try and bypass those things and we bring in Abu Atazwani. And not to say that Atazwani did badly, but he didn't do as well as these ones. But we kind of look at this thing and we say, this one was better than this one because this one looks better. This one looks better to us and speaks to us a lot better, regardless of where it finished. And I think we do that when it comes to national team coaching. Because, you know, you mentioned Bruce, and a lot of people will bring up a Rulani. Rulani must come and coach. You know, Benny is now coaching the Kenyan national team. But I want to focus a little bit on the differences between club coaching and national team coaching. Now, the obvious one is very simple. It's time. Club coaches have more time with players. You have training every day. You have games almost every week, some every 3 days. You are with these players week in, week out in controlled environments where you control them. Nothing changes outside of the transfer windows, but you've got these guys over and over and over and over and over again. By and large, you can put in your philosophy, your tactics. You can implement all of those things into a club team because you've got the time. And you've got, you know, the relationships with the players. Outside of the time on the pitch, there's probably personal things that you understand and know, that you can deal with. When it comes to national teams, you see, we're seeing Bafana right now. It's March. We're going to see them twice. We're probably only going to see them in September. And then again in December, owing to the fact that it's AFCON. But can you imagine being a coach that doesn't have that daily access? And you can only imagine how worse it gets when you look at the relationship that PSL teams, SAFA, the PSL, that whole body, the type of relationships that they have with the national team coaches. So that means you're only getting these guys for a week. You're only getting these guys for 2 weeks max. And part of that is playing, is preparing, is then recovery, post-matches and things like that. It's a completely different mindset. And there's a reason why I believe club coaches, national team coaches, there's a reason why I believe national team coaches tend to be older. It's because the art of coaching a national team has very little to do with your tactics and your highbrow ideals and your structures. Sometimes it just has to do with how many little tricks and tips and things that I've picked up along my career can I bring into here. It's the man management to get the guys on side. Like I said, maybe your team just lost to Orlando Pirates. And now you have to go face Hugo Bruce. Maybe you come from a dysfunctional culture from where you come from for the player. Now you got to have to go face Hugo Bruce. Maybe you come from a place where they didn't want you to play, or they didn't respect you, or they didn't see you that way, or things were starting to go wrong, or sometimes you have mental issues and things like that. And then you have to get on a plane and go face Hugo Bruce. I think sometimes we downplay those type of things when it comes to the national team. Hugo Bruce is a results-based coach, and I love it. I love the fact that he comes in and he's going, guys, yeah, we could play beautiful football. Yeah, we could be overly defensive. There's so many different ways where we could take this team, but I want us to win. Look at the Lesotho game. Lesotho, for all intents and purposes, parks the bus. He came out and he said, okay, I'm going to play a far more attacking lineup. I'm going to bring in far more attacking players, and I'm going to play that game from that perspective. And when things go wrong, you take out Abo Pesi, you sub out the other guys, you're blooding in Abo Mfukeng. which shows an adaptability that is different to the AFCON, where some of the AFCON games were just about long balls to Makhupa, who wasn't even chosen in this run. You see, I believe national team coaching is more about player and man management than it is about tactics and tiki-taka and all of that stuff. They do play a role. Obviously, you need to know what you want your team to do. But for most of the year, you're watching players from outside. I'd imagine he has some access, but you're watching players from outside. You're watching them play. You're having to pick teams. You're having to bring these guys in. You're having to balance so many different things that I don't think we have. And an interesting question came up in the Overthinking Football WhatsApp group, where if you want to join, just send me a DM and I'll tell you how. Where I was asked, of the coaches within the league, which coaches do I think would be the best national team candidates? Or we're just throwing names against the board. So one of them was Rulani. I don't believe Rulani would be a great national team coach right now. I think tactically he's great. I'm not too sure about expectation and man management. And I think that Rulani needs time to implement his ideas. Coach Nabi was thrown into the list. I think Coach Nabi could be an incredible national team coach, and I think he is more of a national team type archetype, where he's got the quality of player around him that he doesn't have to worry about coaching them fully. But then all he has to worry about is getting them on side in terms of their attitude, their ideas, the intensity of the play. I think he's a vibes coach, and it's not a bad thing. Carlo Ancelotti, for me, is a vibes coach. So I think at national team level, when you've got exposure to all of those players and you can chop and change as you wish to make sure that they're in, I think Coach Nabi would be great there. I think Coach Cardoso might do well, but that's more down to his adaptability and his ability to change the game. Like he's able to look at a game and see it for what it is and change it and adapt to what is happening in the game. So I think that would be great. But by and large, for me, if I was to choose a candidate for a national team job or to coach Bafana, let's say, I would go to Coach Jose Rivero. And I want to point to a couple of things that make him, for me, the candidate. Number one, he came into Pirates, first season, didn't have a preseason, saw the team for what it was, coached the team for what it was. Leaned a little bit, I would imagine, on Abu Mandla Ngigazi to help him out, but he got the team firing, 2 trophies in the bag. I will look at his ability to, in the Carling knockout, to take players for a couple of days and transform them. Remember, for as much as we want to say that that Carling knockout game was just a throwaway, that was a fully fledged PSL side. And we saw Abo Zwane, Nabo Hlongwane. I saw a different Zwane. I'm sorry, I saw a different Zwane than what I'd ever seen at Kaizer Chiefs. I saw a guy that wasn't lazy, that was playing in the 10, that was ticking, that was controlling the game. And I do believe that comes a lot from Coach Jose Rivero looking at him and saying, yeah, this is how it is. But I think the most important point for me is Coach Jose Rivero's ability to coach games of consequence. I think there isn't another coach in the league that is able to coach important games. Struggles in the league because obviously 30-game season, I don't think he can focus the boys for so long. But if you were to give him 4 or 5 games, if you were to make it that every time he plays, it's a pressure cooker, it's been 3 months off, now the players have to come in, now you have to win. There's a reason why he's got 5 trophies in 2.5 years. There's a reason why he's one of the most successful coaches for Orlando Pirates. There's a reason why if you were to ask me, which coach would I pick to coach a team if my life was on the line and we didn't have a long time to prepare and it was a huge game, I would choose Jose Rivero. And I think those are some of the characteristics that you need to have. I don't think Hugo Bruce would do well in club football, in everyday football, even just facing fans every day. I don't think he would be loved and beloved. He's not that loved right now, but I think it would be worse if he was a club team manager. Look at Coach Pitso. But it's the higher parts of the game that I think our Hugo Bruce bring in. It's the camaraderie, it's the leadership, it's the delegation of leadership, it's the empowerment of players. All of those things are very different to club teams. Very, very different. And that is a very tough job to do. You look at Didier Deschamps in France right now. All of the names are there. Dembele, you've got Abu Mbappe, Chouameni, you've got, Rabiot, Konate. Hey, you've got players upon players upon players upon players, the top talents in the world. He's struggling at times this year, which shows you how hard that thing is to do. So let's give credit to Coach Bruce. Let's give credit to the fact that he's come and turned around the country. For all of the noise we're making, this was not Bafana. Top of the log, top of a World Cup qualifying log, Bafana with no calculators. Qualified for AFCON, direct. Finished third at an AFCON that nobody thought we even had business being in. He almost qualified us for the World Cup starting off. That's quality. That's quality. And when we look at these people that we love, let's weigh it properly. The last thing that I want to speak about. Okay, so I know I stopped the video a lot, and a lot of you are wondering, why are you asking for money? So I wanted to show you. I asked for money because I want to do more of this. But the truth of the matter is that it took over an hour in order just to render that shot. And it takes even longer when I'm doing my normal content because, guys, here's the unsung hero of the channel. And unfortunately, Shem, but the screen is broken. I have to use a second screen and the performance is not up to it. So I'd really love to upgrade things like that. And when you look over here, this is what the setup looks like. Rehenga di patlo and rehenga di green screen, which is a reality of being a South African content creator. Also, this is what people think is my studio. It's actually my house. So if you still don't know that I'm doing all of this from my home, then I don't know. But that is essentially what I want to do. More of these cool things. But I need you guys to please help me out by donating 50 Rand or more into this account. We're fighting for multi-choice. And multi-choice, but there are subscription models all over the place. And I'd love to give the biggest quality while also being able to pay my rent and do things like that. That is where your money is going. And I promise to give you only the best content that I can if you do throw something in. So I just wanted to show you guys what I want to do with your money. I want to take this South African football and fulfill my dream of taking it into the future. But thank you guys so much. Remember, this is the bank account that you deposit into. Get back into the video.